The collective council of the 12 systems had gathered in the Great Hall of Nexus Prime. Representatives from every major species sat in their designated seats. The Vortani, with their crystalline bodies, glowed softly blue. The Drakari flexed their armored scales. The Mindweavers floated in their containment spheres. All of them had come for one purpose. They wanted to witness the humans beg for help. Admiral Chun Wei stood at the center of the chamber. He was a small man by human standards. His gray uniform was simple compared to the elaborate robes of the alien diplomats around him. Behind him, through the massive transparent dome, the stars of the galaxy stretched endlessly. Your species has been in space for only 200 years, the Vortani High Speaker said. His voice echoed through translation devices. The Kraxan Empire has invaded your outer colonies. They have destroyed 3 of your worlds already. Their fleet numbers 10,000 warships. You have asked for our help. Admiral Chun nodded slowly. I have. And what do you offer in return? The Drakari commander asked. His yellow eyes narrowed with contempt. Your species has nothing we want. Your technology is primitive. Your military is weak. The Kraxan will consume you within a single cycle. The representatives murmured among themselves. Some laughed. The humans were new to the galactic stage. They had stumbled into a universe filled with ancient empires and powerful civilizations. Everyone knew they would not survive long. The Kraxan had destroyed countless species before. Humanity would simply be another footnote in history. We understand your position, Admiral Chun said calmly. You believe we are not worth saving. You think the Kraxan threat will end with our extinction. But I came here today not just to ask for help. Then, why are you here, human? The Mindweaver representative asked. Its thoughts projected directly into everyone's minds. Admiral Chun smiled. It was a strange smile. There was something dangerous hiding behind it. I came here to show you something. A demonstration, if you will. He raised his hand and spoke into his communication device. Captain Rodriguez, you may proceed. Outside the transparent dome, something small appeared. It was a human vessel, but it was not a battleship or a carrier. It was a scout ship, the smallest class in the human fleet. It measured barely 50 meters long. Compared to the massive stations and warships around Nexus Prime, it looked like an insect. The aliens laughed openly now. This is your demonstration? The Drakari commander roared with amusement. A ship that our fighters could destroy in seconds? Admiral Chun said nothing. He simply watched the stars. Then the Kraxan arrived. The space around Nexus Prime tore open. Hyperspace portals ripped through reality. And from those portals came the enemy. Kraxan warships poured into normal space. Their vessels were massive. Each one was covered in organic armor and weapon systems that could level cities. There were hundreds of them. A scouting fleet by Kraxan standards, but enough to threaten even Nexus Prime. Panic erupted in the council chamber. Representatives screamed orders into their communication devices. Defense systems activated across the station, but everyone knew the truth. Nexus Prime's defenses were ceremonial. The station relied on treaties and mutual agreements for protection. Against a Kraxan assault, they would last minutes at best. Admiral Chun, the Vortani High Speaker shouted. Did you lead them here? No, Admiral Chun replied. His voice remained calm. They were already coming. They planned to destroy this council and end any possibility of alliance. I simply knew about it beforehand. Then we are all doomed. A Mindweaver screamed through its telepathy. Not quite, Admiral Chun said. He looked at the tiny human scout ship floating in space. Captain Rodriguez, you are authorized to engage. The small ship moved forward. It accelerated toward the Kraxan fleet. One tiny vessel against hundreds of massive warships. The Kraxan did not even bother to fire at it. They focused on the larger targets. Their weapons began charging to attack Nexus Prime itself. Then the scout ship reached the center of their formation, and everything changed. The ship released something. It was small, a device no bigger than a human fist. But when it activated, space itself seemed to scream. A wave of energy expanded outward. It moved faster than light. It passed through shields as if they did not exist. It touched the Kraxen ships, and they stopped. Every single Kraxen vessel went dark. Their weapons powered down. Their engines died. Their organic hulls began to crack and break apart. Within 30 seconds, the entire Kraxen scout fleet was nothing but drifting wreckage. The council chamber fell silent. Admiral Chun turned back to face the representatives. His expression had not changed. That device is what we call a cascade disruptor. It targets the specific biological frequency that Kraxen organic technology operates on. We developed it in our research stations on Europa. It took us 40 years of study after our first encounter with the Kraxen. Impossible, the Drakari commander whispered. We have studied the Kraxen for thousands of years. We never found such a weakness. You studied them to understand them, Admiral Chun said. We studied them to destroy them. The Vortani High Speaker floated closer to the human admiral. How many of these devices do you have? Enough, Chen replied. We have placed them on ships across our territory. We have hidden them on asteroids and stations throughout human space. The Kraxen invaded our worlds because they thought we were weak. They thought we would be easy prey. They were wrong. He walked toward the dome and looked out at the drifting Kraxen wreckage. 3 weeks ago, the Kraxen sent their main battle fleet to our home system. 12,000 warships. The largest invasion force they had ever assembled. They wanted to end humanity once and for all. Admiral Chun turned back to face the council. We sent a single patrol ship to meet them. The smallest vessel in our fleet, crewed by 17 people. They carried one cascade disruptor. He paused to let his words sink in. The Kraxen Empire no longer has a main battle fleet. The 12,000 warships that were supposed to destroy Earth are now scattered debris floating through the Sol system. We lost 0 ships, 0 personnel. The silence in the chamber was absolute. I did not come here to beg for help, Admiral Chun continued. I came here to offer you a choice. The Kraxen have threatened this galaxy for 10,000 years. They have destroyed entire civilizations. They have enslaved hundreds of species. Every empire in this council has lost worlds to them. And none of you ever found a way to truly fight back. He stood taller now. His voice filled the chamber. Humanity has been in space for 200 years. In that time, we have learned a fundamental truth about survival. It is not the biggest or the strongest who wins. It is the one who adapts, the one who thinks differently, the one who refuses to accept that victory is impossible. The Drakari commander stepped forward. His contempt had transformed into something else, respect, perhaps even fear. What are you proposing, human? The Kraxen homeworld is located in the Void Sector, Admiral Chun said. A region that no species has ever successfully invaded. Their defenses there have stopped every fleet ever sent against them. But I am not going to send a fleet. He smiled that dangerous smile again. I am going to send 12 scout ships, the smallest vessels humanity has. Each one carrying a cascade disruptor enhanced for planetary range. In 6 days, the Kraxen homeworld will cease to exist. Their species will be broken, and the galaxy will be free of their threat forever. You cannot simply exterminate an entire species. The Mindweaver representative protested. It is against every law of civilized warfare. Admiral Chun looked at the Mindweaver with cold eyes. The Kraxen have exterminated 347 species in their history. They have eaten the populations of entire worlds. They do not negotiate. They do not make peace. They only consume. Tell me, does such an enemy deserve the protection of civilized laws? No one answered. Humanity did not ask to be part of this war, Admiral Chun said. We did not ask to be invaded. We did not ask to watch our colonies burn. But we adapted. We learned. We built weapons that your ancient empires never imagined. And now we are going to end this threat, with or without your support." He began walking toward the chamber exit. "Wait," the Vortani High Speaker called out. "What do you want from us?" Admiral Chun stopped. He did not turn around. "Nothing. We need nothing from you. But I wanted you to see this. I wanted you to understand what humanity is capable of. When we are threatened, we do not surrender. We do not beg. We find a way to win." He looked over his shoulder at the assembled representatives. "Remember this day. Remember what you saw. Because humanity is going to change this galaxy. We will tear down empires that have stood for 1,000,000 years. We will free species that have been enslaved since before your civilizations existed. We will bring war to those who prey on the weak. And we will do it with ships smaller than your pleasure yachts." He walked out of the chamber. Behind him, the representatives sat in stunned silence. Through the dome, they could see the human scout ship casually flying through the wreckage of the Kraxan fleet, collecting data, scanning debris, operating as if it had done nothing more than routine maintenance. The Drakari commander spoke first. "We underestimated them. We all did," the Vortani High Speaker replied. "For 200 years, we laughed at them. We called them primitive. We said they would not survive. And now?" The High Speaker watched the tiny human ship disappear into hyperspace. "Now I think the galaxy should be very afraid. Not of the Kraxan, not of any of us, but of them, of what they will become." 6 days later, the Kraxan homeworld burned. 12 scout ships had slipped past every defense. 12 small devices had activated simultaneously. The most feared empire in galactic history ended not with a great battle, but with a whisper, a flicker, a quiet cascade that left nothing behind but ash. The galaxy would never recover, not from destruction, but from the knowledge that somewhere out there, a species existed that could accomplish the impossible. A species that had learned to turn weakness into strength. That had transformed their smallest ships into weapons of unimaginable power. Humanity had announced itself to the universe, and the universe had finally learned to pay attention. In the centuries that followed, the story was told countless times. Empires rose and fell. Species evolved and faded. But one truth remained constant. When the darkness came, when the powerful threatened the weak, when all hope seemed lost, there was always a small ship somewhere, crewed by humans, carrying something terrible and wonderful. The Admiral had sent his smallest ship, and the galaxy had never recovered.